Smile, friend. Smile. Because you know something the rest of the world tries so hard to ignore. You've been running from silence your entire life. You hide behind noise, endless chatter, social feeds, meaningless small talk, anything to keep you from staring at the one person you can never escape, yourself. In this video, we're diving deep into the power of solitude, the kind of silence that makes you squirm in your seat. Watch till the end, and you will discover how the greatest breakthroughs in history were born in moments of isolation. You'll learn why your brain craves these quiet moments, how psychology calls it neuroplasticity in action, and how cognitive dissonance forces you to grow when you have no place to hide. You've been sold a lie. That being alone means weakness, that if your phone isn't buzzing, you're failing. But ask yourself, how many times have you felt lonelier in a crowd? How many times did you scroll through feeds and feel emptier? Carl Jung once said, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Solitude is that mirror. It shows you the cracks you've hidden, the fears you've buried, and the truths you refuse to face. At first, solitude feels like a brutal detox. Your mind fights back. You'll feel the itch of boredom, the panic of emptiness. That's cognitive dissonance at work. Your desire for comfort clashes with your need for growth. But guess what? That discomfort is pure gold. It's the spark that lights the forge of your true self. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth in the face of stress. When you sit with your thoughts, free from external noise, your brain builds new connections, neuroplasticity in action. Creativity bursts forth. Problems that seemed unsolvable now feel simple. Ideas flow like a river breaking through a dam. But here's the Joker's grin. Before clarity, there's chaos. You'll meet your darkest fears in that silence. The fear of not being enough, the fear of failure, the fear that your dreams are ridiculous. You can run, but you can't hide. Solitude drags them out into the light and forces you to look. It hurts. It burns. But in that fire, you are forged. Maslow taught us that self-actualization sits at the top of his hierarchy of needs. You can't reach it if you're busy chasing likes, approval, or hollow distractions. You need space. Space to think, to feel, to dream. That's why great thinkers like Einstein and Van Gogh retreated into quiet rooms. They knew that brilliance grows in the soil of silence. In this video, I challenge you. Schedule 30 minutes of brutal solitude today. No phone, no music, no excuses. Sit in a room. Let your mind wander. Let the voices rise. When you can sit with your worst thoughts and not flee, you claim a power no one can steal. You build mental resilience. You become the architect of your own mind. Self-determination. Theory tells us that autonomy fuels motivation. When you choose solitude, you choose yourself. You declare, "I will not be shaped by the crowd." You tap into intrinsic motivation, motivation that comes from within. And that, my friend, is unstoppable. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once declared, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Solitude helps you find that why. In the stillness, you uncover your deepest desires, your true north. You shed the borrowed goals that other people handed you. You ignite your inner fire. Watch till the end, and you will see how solitude transforms relationships too. When you are whole alone, you no longer cling to others. You attract people who add real value. You connect from abundance, not need. That's the secret of magnetic charisma. It's not about flashing muscles or loud boasts. It's the calm confidence of someone who has faced themselves and lived to laugh about it. Let me tell you a secret. Time in solitude stretches. You feel every second. You reclaim your hours from the tyranny of busyness. You become the master of your own clock. In those moments, you practice patience. You learn the power of reflection. You savor the depth of thought that a world chasing instant gratification will never know. This is no motivational fluff. It's science. Studies show that even short periods of solitude boost creativity by 50%. Mindfulness research proves that quiet reflection lowers stress and rewires your brain for focus. Embrace it, and you'll see your productivity skyrocket. Now I know you're itching to escape. Your thumb is twitching, ready to open an app. But hold on, stay here. Watch the discomfort. Let it burn, because every second you resist, you grow stronger. That's the real training ground, your own mind. Remember, the greatest revolutions began with one person daring to sit alone with their thoughts. Solitude is the battlefield where ideas become reality. It's the workshop where your masterpiece is born. So here's your call to action. Right after this video, block 30 minutes. Go sit in silence. No phone, no noise. Just you and your mind. When you're done, come back and tell me in the comments, I heard my true voice. That's when I'll know you're not like the others. You dared to look inside. Now let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a stage, lights blazing, crowd roaring, but you stand alone in the spotlight with no script, no support, just you and a blank canvas. That's life in solitude. It's terrifying and thrilling. It's the moment you decide to create your own masterpiece instead of reciting someone else's lines. Psychology tells us about the Asch conformity experiments, where people gave wrong answers just to fit in. But when they thought alone, they spoke the truth. Solitude frees you from that herd instinct. It grants you permission to think for yourself, to ask, what do I really want? Instead of, what do they expect? Flow state, Csikszentmihalyi's gift to us, happens when challenge meets skill in perfect balance. It rarely occurs in a noisy cafe or a crowded party. It happens in the quiet forge of your mind. When you remove distractions, your focus sharpens. You lose track of time. You become a machine of creation. That's not magic. It's neurochemistry, dopamine reward loops, prefrontal cortex in full gear, attention tunneled on purpose. Have you ever journaled? Pen on paper, no filter, no likes, no algorithms. Journaling is solitude in ink. You pour your fears, your dreams, your failures onto the page. Carl Rogers called it unconditional positive regard. Except you're both the giver and receiver. You learn to listen to your own thoughts like you'd listen to a friend. And if that friend betrays you, you face the raw truth and heal. Let's talk about grit. Angela Duckworth's wonder. Grit is passion and perseverance for long-term goals. You can't build grit in constant company. You need the crucible of challenge, the silence that tests your resolve. In those lonely hours, you either quit or you learn you're tougher than you thought. That's where champions are made. And what about emotional intelligence? Daniel Goleman showed us that self-awareness is the cornerstone of EQ. How can you know your triggers, your biases, your blind spots if you never look within? Solitude hands you a mirror. You see the patterns of your anger, the loops of your anxiety, the whispers of your doubt. You learn to tame them, to talk back with kindness and truth. Imagine the great Viktor Frankl, trapped in a camp, finding meaning in the darkest silence. He taught us that between stimulus and response lies choice. Solitude stretches that gap. It gives you space to choose who you become, instead of reacting like a puppet. You claim authorship of your own story. Watch till the end and you will feel the shift. You will discover a clarity that cuts through noise like a razor. You will claim your power, your purpose, your path. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. You're alone in your room. Your heart races. The world sleeps. You could check your phone, but you don't. You breathe. You observe. You hear the echo of your ambition. That whisper becomes a roar. Psychology calls this reframing. You turn doubts into data, failures into feedback. Carol Dweck taught us about the growth mindset. Talents can grow with effort. In solitude, you fail without shame. You practice persistence until mastery emerges. Martin Seligman studied learned helplessness. When people give up feeling powerless, solitude shatters that illusion. It reminds you that your mind is a tool, not a cage. Let me leave you with this. Solitude is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your legend. The world will try to drag you back into noise. They'll whisper that you're weak. Don't believe them. You need only yourself and the courage to face your own mind. This is Midnight Alpha, where we turn darkness into power, silence into symphony, and solitude into revolution. Subscribe, like, comment, and watch more. Your journey starts now. Embrace this power. Share breakthrough in comments. And remember, your greatest ally is the silence you feared. Let it guide you to heights you were born to reach.